Hello and welcome to Creative Sparkle. My name's Holly and today we're doing an art journal prompt list. So grab your art supplies and let's get crafting. Thank you for joining me today. So to begin with, for the first prompt, we're going to start by using wallpaper or wrapping paper to prepare the background. You can use any wallpaper or wrapping paper that you have. I found this wallpaper that I had in my stash and it's actually a textured wallpaper. And I'm going to stick it directly onto the page as a whole. If you wanted, you could do it like a collage and do smaller pieces, or even use multiple patterns if you wanted something a little bit different. So I'm just going to pop some masking tape down the middle so that I don't have to worry about anything seeping through, and then I'll stick it down with some gel medium. So once you've got that stuck down, moving on to prompt number 2, which is prime with a thin layer of gesso. So to make it a bit thinner, I'm using white gesso and I'm just going to water it down. And I'm going to use my paintbrush to try and get in those little crevices where it's raised up. Because it's an embossed wallpaper, I want to make sure I'm getting in all those little crevices. So moving on to prompt number 3 is add geometric shapes in a water-based medium. So I've chosen to use watercolours and I'm just going to water them down, and I've chosen 2 colours that match the wallpaper that I've used. So I chose to go with the pink and a green. And then once I've got those ready on the palette, I will start by making green triangles. And then once the triangles have dried, I'm going to add the pink in circles. There's no rules as to which geometric shapes you can add. You can add any that you like. You don't have to do triangles and circles like I'm doing. Just add what you think will go with your page. So once your water-based medium has dried, we'll move on to prompt number 4, which is stamp text or pattern across the page. I've chosen this stamp, so I'm going to be using the text stamp with these 2 distressed colours, Bundled Sage and Spun Sugar, and I'm just going to stamp over the background. So once I went through doing the pink and the green that I've chosen, I realised that the pink isn't very good and it's not coming up properly, so I decided to use a darker colour, which is Worn Lipstick. And then moving on to prompt number 5, so we've got use pen to define or emphasise your geometric shapes. So I just choose a green and a pink that are very close to the colours that I have for the geometric shapes. And then I'll also take a white gel pen and add a highlight to the other side of the shapes from the pen marks that I'm doing at the moment. So when you're choosing your pen that you want to emphasise the shapes with, you don't necessarily have to use the same colours. You can just emphasise them in a different way. Just take the page whichever direction it's going in. So after you've finished adding your emphasis with the pen, we'll move on to prompt number 6, which is make marks with a card. So you can use a gift card, credit card, etc. I've decided to go with pink and I'm just adding some white to it to reach the shade that I want, and then I'm just going to dip the credit card in on the smaller side and just stamp them on the page. So prompt number 7 is going to be find a stamp set relating to your wallpaper or wrapping paper for your focal image. So I've got some watercolour paper here and I'm using a stamp set that I got for a gift at Christmas. Shout out to my sister. Hey Frankie. So I'm using my Tim Holtz stamping platform to get those images stamped and distress inks in a multitude of colours, and then I'm going to use watercolours to paint the images. So once I've had those painted, I'll cut them all out individually. Yes, that's what I did, individually, and it took me a very, very long time. Obviously, I'm not saying that that's something you have to do, but this stamp set is the one that I chose to use and I absolutely adore it. And I've obviously, as you can see, chosen to stick with the colour theme that I chose in the beginning. So we're still going with the pinks and the greens, and I absolutely love how it turned out. Not forgetting one little detail, which is the glasses for the giraffe. Yes, this is within the same stamp set. So cute. So once I've added those glasses on, I actually used some pearl drops in clear just to put some emphasis on the glasses and make it look like they have a reflective surface. So now that we've finished with the focal image, we'll move on to prompt number 8, which is write about something that made you laugh this week. You can write directly onto the page wherever you like, in small writing, big writing, whatever you fancy. I've decided to go for an envelope, so I'm actually going to hide what I'm writing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do that, but I'm using this wax seal. Once I've written what I want in the envelope, I'll seal it with the wax, and I actually have pink wax so it'll match the page as well. And I've chosen, again in the same colour scheme, some card, and I've cut it out with a die cut, which is the shape of an envelope. And here I'm folding up my message, and I'm going to seal it with the wax and stick it on my page. I don't know if you can notice here, but I only have 2 hands, so I'm unable to scrape the excess wax out of the spoon, so unfortunately it wasn't quite as much as I wanted, but I'll learn that for next time. So prompt number 9 is to add a title that stretches across at least a quarter of your page. So for the title, I've decided to use the same craft paper that I used for the envelope, and I'm going to use my scan and cut to cut out letters that spell out stand tall, which I think is relevant to the giraffe that I've used. And as I've done with the leaves and the flowers, the cut out letters, I'm going to use a marker pen just to edge them so that they stand out onto the page a bit better. So once I've done that, I'll stick them down with some gel medium, and then we'll move on to the next prompt. So the next and final prompt is prompt number 10, which is add splatters or drips in a colour of your choice to complete the page. So I decide that I want to cover up the giraffe, and I'm going to do splatters in 2 colours, again with the green and the pink. So I just covered the giraffe just to protect him from any of the splatters, and I water down the paint and just spread them over the page, making splatters with a fan brush. So that's the final result. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for joining me today. Please comment down below if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more prompt lists. The full prompt list is at the end of the video. If you do decide to do the prompt list, don't forget to tag me on Instagram with #sparkleprompts, and I will see you next time, where we will turn your creative spark into creative sparkle. Thanks for joining me. Bye!